Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Downtown Works Coffee Huddle. Hi, Candace.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. It's a cloudy morning in San Diego, but I think we're cooling off. We're actually into fall, which is nice.
Getting there. Yeah.
I am. Hold on one second. It's playing on the other side.
What is playing?
Oh, the video.
Meaning?
I'm hearing myself, so let me just close that out. Sorry. Technology, it happens sometimes. So yeah, I mean, we it's been a while since we checked in, so I'm glad to have you back and, actually really talk about a topic that I'm passionate about. I've been involved with the startup community before here in San Diego and in LA, so I'm excited for our guest today. But why don't we talk about what is new with the Downtown Works community and what's going on specifically with our Carlsbad location?
Yes. And before we segue to that, I do want to say the managing partner and owners of Downtown Works are fully behind startup community in San Diego and abroad. They're constantly mentoring and investing, and we've opened up our space for the last 4 years for the whole organization to work here. And hopefully Alexa Ray, I'm pretty sure she would have spread the word that the speakers who are involved in this startup month, are welcome to come here as our guest and do their segments and work for the day. So.
Yeah, and we're going to have Jonah from San Diego's Startup Month on to talk more about that and how it's still going on. I mean, normally it's a few days in the month, and I think at the end of May, early June is when it usually is. But this year, because of COVID, they had to switch it up. So we talked a little bit before this, and he told me some new platforms that people are using that I'm sure he'll touch on. And it's really...
and I'm just curious because Jennifer created a booth for us on the first day, and it was so fun. I thought for sure it was just going to be like, who's going to really participate? And we kept it on all day, and throughout the day, people were chatting, and you could hear them. And it was very fun.
That's awesome.
Great impact.
I have yet to take a full virtual conference experience yet, but I'm excited to see where that goes. Obviously, now that things are definitely not going to go back to normal for a while in terms of the conference world. Yeah, so.
I agree. Speaking of conference, I'm in the conference room at Downtown Works, the California room, and behind me is the Midway and then the America. So it's a great place if anyone needs a large space to meet with their team members or have a Zoom call. We have that available. But speaking of what's new at Downtown Works, our Carlsbad location is open and they're onboarding members every day. New people are joining. The official ribbon cutting ceremony is slated for November 17th, 4 to 6. And do you have the link, Marissa? I guess we could put it out on social media again for people to RSVP. So that'll be fun. And they're actually hosting their very first socially distancing meetup happy hour this Thursday. Nice. So all our members here in the Little Italy location are welcome to go to the Carlsbad location. And we do reciprocate when it comes to working during the day. So any member here can go and work in Carlsbad and vice versa. So you can use the meeting rooms, the open space, and then probably in a few months, not too far off, we'll have the PB location opening.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I did go to the Carlsbad location like a month ago.
Right, I remember.
It's like nice greenery in the background, especially if you have a dog. You can go have your dog run around, and the decor is really nice, and it's ready for all of us workers to get there and spend some time in there. So yeah, if you are a member of Little Italy, you can definitely go to Carlsbad.
Correct. And they have outside workstations. We have a rooftop lounge with robust Wi-Fi, but they actually have workstations set up outside, which you can do in Southern California. So you can do that as well. But speaking of reciprocation and workspaces, we're part of an organization, a partnership called Lexi, League of Extraordinary Co-working Alliance. And I think you can share a little bit about your experience when you were traveling, but anyone who's a member of Downtown Works can join the other co-working spaces throughout the world, 5 days free at any location. And we just set that up. They let us know. Our member says, I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to Bali, I'm going to Rome, and we set them up in a nice premium co-working space for free.
Yeah, I did get to experience that perk of being a member of Downtown Works last month when I went to Austin. I actually got proof that I went there. See, I have my coffee cup, common desk.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Common desk in Austin was welcoming. You know, I walked in, they gave me a tour. It was in this really old like landmark building in downtown Austin, which was really nice. And you know, they treated me like I was a member, you know, because I was a Lexi, you know, it's a Lexi partner. So it was really nice to get some strong Wi-Fi in and not the hotel Wi-Fi where I was at on a business trip. So yeah, it was nice.
Very cool. The other thing I wanted to mention coming down the road for the Little Italy location is we have a touchless coffee machine on the way. And the way it will work is they use their cell phone with a QR code. So no longer do they have to wait for Jennifer and I to run to the kitchen and get them their specialty coffee. They can do it themselves. So that's exciting. Carlsbad already has theirs. That was the beta test and everything went off without a hitch. People enjoy it. So we're getting ours probably inside of 2 weeks.
So we can like put it on our phone, like order on our phone, and then it could be like over there like 5 minutes later.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's really cool.
And also we have a podcast booth right now, as you know, on the Mez, but it's a small one and very popular. So we're building a larger podcast room / video room on the second floor. We now have the entire building within the co-working umbrella. So on the second floor, there's very large suites, and we have a couple of companies moving in shortly. And one of the rooms we've designated for video and podcast. And people can reserve it, book it on their portal. Price-wise, it's probably for members going to initially just stay around $40, and non-members $50, $55 an hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, everyone's kind of doing you know, digital content, podcasts, and videos. So that's a great resource for people that don't want to have their unmade bed in the background, I guess.
Right. And we'll have all the equipment, everything but the camera.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, and like a laptop stand or something, like maybe so they can go live or something like that. Whatever. I'm sure it can be improved on based on feedback once people start using it. I'm sure.
Correct.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you for the updates. I do want to touch on, we are still doing our Downtown Work sessions, which are, they're educational-based videos that live on our YouTube channel from members and past members and prospective members, all about things related to your business. And we have one rolling out later this month, which is remote tools for creative teams. So that'll be fun. I love tools, so I'll be excited to see what Jen from Forfin Creative comes up with. But you can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to get updates on that.
Yeah, and I don't know if did you catch the article that just came out about Downtown Works work? It's called, the title is "Work from Anywhere," which is, you know, a big movement right now. We're seeing people from all over the world coming to San Diego. They work for Dropbox, Netflix, the local Sempra Energy, Illumina. People are coming here, paying for their own memberships because they want to get out of their condo or their house. So
I definitely, I mean, I haven't seen that article, but I will check it out. I've been a huge advocate for people, you know, not necessarily working from home all the time, because
mix it up.
You get in the right mindset. when you come here. So with that said, thank you, Candace, for the updates on Downtown Works. I'm going to go to our next segment, which we get to talk to Jonah from San Diego Startup Week. So welcome, Jonah. Hi, Jonah.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing?
It's good
Good morning.
to finally meet you.
My coffee machine's not as fancy, but I still have some in honor of the coffee huddle. So I'm still joining.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers, guys. Good morning.
So thank you for joining us again. We have been talking through email and, just briefly here on video. So why don't you tell us about San Diego Startup Month and let the viewers know about that?
Awesome. Yeah, so we have had the blessing of moving an entire startup week into a full month, which is still going. I do advise you to come check it out. Check out Startup. San Diego Startup Week.com. Check out the schedule. We have some pretty cool events coming up. We have some cool final parties, and a couple things that are really interesting is how do you transition a sort of convention center 1 week conference into a month, but also try to build in some interactions. And so we've been using some cool tools. Run the World is one that many of you've seen, or Verbella, which is a San Diego company. Kind of has like a Sims feel. You run around and network there. In fact, if you log in and I'm running around, I just changed my head to a pumpkin in theme of Halloween. So that's been fun. So please come find us in there. We're trying to figure out, how do you create, serendipitous interactions, which is kind of in the spirit of, startups and what we're trying to do here. And we're trying to use, young tech tools to bring that forward and have everybody who's attending kind of come online. And, one nice thing that we've seen is, you don't need to deal with parking this year, so you can just grab a laptop at your home or perhaps the Downtown Works and log in and see some cool content. Anything from AI-driven customer journeys, to how to sort of manage a Kickstarter campaign. So kind of the whole gambit's there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really exciting. I gotta log in now and see you popping around. And that's kind of how conference life is. I mean, I feel like you see people and you run into them in the halls and then you run into a session. So, but yeah. So how did you get involved with San Diego Startup Month or Week, whichever one?
That's awesome. So I'd spent a number of years in sort of the on-demand tech space, and then that was anything from Handy, booking a home cleaner, Postmates locally, so food delivery, and most recently Lime scooters. Pretty controversial in San Diego. Hopefully many of the viewers had great scooter experiences. I know it was, there were times at City Council where we heard varying opinions. So I spent so much time working with sort of post-A round rapidly scaling tech companies that I began to get more and more curious with what does it look like to have two founders, in the garage sort of building and hacking their business together. And, Startup SD was really sort of that main, center that founders were going to or were hoping to go to find that next bit of help, that next connection. And so that kind of drew me that way to say, hey, how can I help out founders that are in those early stages while myself continuing to learn what their journey's like and eventually kind of take that to my next future, where I go next. So I'm kind of looking to help founders in a sense of either connect resources, potentially solve operational problems as either a mentor or advisor, or any other way that I can kind of help them connect to resources.
Yeah, that's I feel like you have to be a jack of all trades when you're in startup world, because you need to know whether or not it's your strength or weakness or where to direct people. So with that said, I mean, a lot of people ask this, and I'm probably heard it in tons of pitch competitions and stuff like that. But what do you think is your superpower when it comes to startups?
It's a good question. So I kind of like to find a way to keep things moving. I understand what my strengths and weaknesses are, but I also know when I'm weak somewhere, how can I find someone who's strong somewhere, and trying to make those connections and keep things moving forward, even if it's a baby step or it's a giant leap. Tends to be baby steps, but who can I find, who can I connect to help someone solve a problem that they feel like they're not strong at? So hopefully that's a good enough superpower. At least I'm working on it, but drinking 10 cups of coffee is another superpower. So we got many.
I am right there with you. And perfect that you're on Coffee Huddle. So if anyone wants to find out, I know we shared the link early on, but if anyone wants to find out more information, or get involved, where can they find you or San Diego Startup Week month?
Yeah, so definitely check us out online. Check out our website, so San Diego Startup Week.com. Find us there. Definitely join us on the Slack channel. It's a big open Slack channel with 2,500 people actively sort of communicating, looking for support, help, advice, and you can chat directly with many of us. Probably the two of you on the Slack channel. You can find me on there too, and I'm happy to start a conversation, direct you in a hopefully helpful way to send you to some other resources. But those are two of the best. And if you want to be a community partner and you're looking to kind of work a little bit more closely with me directly, feel free to shoot me an email, jonah.peake@startupsd.org.
Awesome, Jonah. Thank you for joining us and giving us a little insight into Startup Month, and hopefully people can join the last few days of the month.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, I love startups. And it's just exciting because I feel like there's so many different things going on and always new ideas popping up when it comes to startups. So
Yep.
in addition to Jonah, obviously, we have another member that has been involved with San Diego Startups and started his own. So I want to welcome Jared to the Coffee Huddle. Hi, Jared.
Morning, everybody. How's it going?
Morning.
Good to see you. You're not in the office today.
I'm not. No, I'm in the home office today.
Okay. Do you have coffee or have you had coffee yet?
I usually do coffee later. I'm focusing on water right now, just trying to
Hydrate.
hydrate myself.
Okay, so we want to get a little insight into you and your company. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing that with our audience, I'd love to hear more about your company.
Yeah, happy to. And thank you again for the opportunity to be here today and for everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. So my name is Jared Priscolo. I'm the founder of Upcycling Company. We are a regenerative fertilizer company. So basically make a product that takes different types of upcycled organic waste and turns it into a high quality kind of supercharged fertilizer that we call active fertilizer. Been in business since 2015, kind of building, and now getting to the point where we're starting to scale commercially. So it's been a slow launch off the pad, but sometimes things go fast, sometimes things go slow. You just have to kind of migrate through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what made you want to get into this style of business? I know you mentioned surfing before, but why don't you talk a little bit about how you jumped into getting this company started?
Yeah, I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest on it. So in terms of how I got the company started, this goes back really to my childhood. I grew up in a small town, worked in a nursery for my first job when I was 14. Spent a lot of time outside as a kid and wanted to be an environmental lawyer, actually. So that was the track that I thought I was going to be on until I got waitlisted at law school. And then the advice that I got was, go get a job in finance, volunteer with a nonprofit organization, read The Economist. Those are like the three pieces of sage advice that I was given. And then come back, 5-6 years later after I had some work experience and then reapply. Basically what happened was I moved out here, I got the finance job, got sick surfing, and started volunteering with the Surfrider Foundation here in San Diego. And that kind of became this big pivot point for me where I got to get involved as not as an attorney, but as an activist and local board member in environmental litigation. Realized that I didn't want to practice law, but decided that for me, the solution I could bring to the table was creating businesses that solved different types of ecological problems. So this is my third business now. The first was a nonprofit, more of a kind of consumer tech facing nonprofit. The second was a consulting business that worked with wastewater agencies here in town. And then this current business kind of grew out of that, where we were looking at different waste sources that the wastewater agency was receiving, and then what could we possibly do with that? And that just sort of led down the rabbit hole to where we're at today.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm glad to hear that you keep going. I mean, I think that's what any entrepreneur does. So you've been involved with San Diego Startup Month, I assume. How was your experience with that? I know it's been like fully online now. Have you been involved in years past, and how is it different this year?
Yeah, so one of my good friends was one of the founders of it, Neil Bloom, and I've kind of watched from the periphery as as Neil and the team have kind of grown and evolved Startup Week from its infancy in I think 2013 or 14 to where it is now. But yeah, originally got plugged in. Just I sort of snuck into Evo Nexus in the first year that I was there. A friend brought me in to co-work, and then was it like a year and a half or 2 years later, I was still kind of co-working there, even though I wasn't an official company, but just participated, leaned in, got involved with other companies, tried to learn as much as I could and share what little bit I knew at that point in time. And then, yeah, leading up to this year. So I've been to a few of the events in the past, then participated in the pitch session on the 9th as a guest speaker. And for me, it was a really cool experience because it's, particularly as a company that doesn't fit the traditional tech or the healthcare mold that a lot of, we have a lot of healthcare defense and tech companies here in San Diego. We represent, I think, old San Diego. If you look back 30, 40 years, and even to today, there's still a lot of agricultural interest. There's over 5,000 family-owned farms throughout San Diego County. So we're kind of playing in the space that, was San Diego before the 70s, before it developed and became, the booming city that it is now. So it's kind of cool to be part of that legacy and history, but then also be able to move fluently through this community and see all these great companies coming up, solving a variety of problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's definitely. I know I'm a fan of all the farms. I forget the one like near Nate's Garden Grill. I think it's like City Nursery or something like that. They're kind of gems inside, like in the little nooks and crannies of the neighborhood. So yeah, it's cool to see that they're still thriving and blending tech into that. So, Candace, did you have anything you wanted to ask Jonah or Jared? Sorry.
Nothing I wanted to ask him. I know Jared for a couple of years now. The first time I met him, he was on stage. I went to watch Emily, who, remember Emily, watch her pitch her company, and Jared just caught my eye. He was this handsome, he delivered his pitch just perfectly, very eloquent. I think you had a cowboy hat on that day with cowboy boots, so I remember that. And then we circled back maybe a year ago. You came to Downtown Works and you were looking for a space, and then now and then he pops in, so kind of like his second home here. So I know a little bit about his company, and it's a great industry to be in. I have my son who's very involved in organic agricultural farming. I shared with Jared how he's moving goats across the nation and improving soil. So, and I still need to connect you to a couple people that are here, Jared, that are in agriculture. So
that means I got to get down there. And I appreciate the space that you created. I mean, there's a lot of co-working spaces in downtown San Diego. And I'm just saying this because this is what I feel. Yours is the most welcome of all of them. A place where, you're really flexible, letting people just kind of come and go. And if they want a membership, great. And if they just want to drop in for, like I came by for a couple hours for the Startup Week presentation because the dog that I live with here is very, very loud and vocal when he wants to be. So like you were super gracious in terms of welcoming people in, hosting events, and just sharing resources. I appreciate that as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's a little cash strapped and whatever it's food over gas over co-working. Sometimes.
Yeah. And that comes from the owners of Downtown Works, because they're very inviting. They're genuine people that want to see others succeed, and they always want to share the space. It's all about community. So connecting and community, and that's their motto, and they have great values, and they want to pass that on. So.
Yeah, I will echo that. It's always been, that's why I'm a member here for almost 2 years in January. So that'll be really nice to, I guess, commemorate that moment. And, I always tell people to come down and visit me because the coffee's one thing, but the people are a plus. So, Jared, if people want to connect with you or learn more about your company, kind of maybe have you connect them to someone you might know in the community, where's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so if you want to learn a little bit more about what we're doing, go to upcyclingcompany.com. I I'm a recovering social media addict, so I don't really use social media. If you want to find me on that, LinkedIn's the best way to find us. We've got some great articles that our team shares about just, what's going on in the world in agriculture and technology, food quality, food security. So definitely be a resource there. And if you want to connect, I'm happy to happy to give back. This community has given a lot to me. Everything from connections and various resources and space up to Tech Coast Angels led our last round and actually filled like 90% of it. So I've had a lot of great coaching and mentoring along the way from a lot of people, more than I can even begin to fathom. So would love to return that favor. Best way to get me is jared@upcycleandcompany.com. So JARED at upcycleandcompany.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. It's just Jared Criscuolo, CRISCUOLO. Is where you'll find me on LinkedIn. Robinson may pop up as my middle name, but that's me. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're kind of scratching through an idea and just want to gut check it a little bit. I mean, anything really from like creating a brand and the importance of that all the way on through, we're coming into our fourth round of capital right now and looking at an A round. So got some experience there, been in an accelerator, so I kind of know how that works and the value that can bring. We're part of the San Diego Innovation Council, so I can kind of speak to that. So really anything you could possibly imagine. It doesn't have to be fertilizer related. Just startups in general have a lot of similar dynamics. So I'll stop. But consider me as a resource if you need it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we will put your profile link in the description if someone's watching the replay and they didn't see the link. But I'm sure they can go to your website and contact you as well. So thank you again for sharing a little bit about your background and your company and what's new. And we will see you around Downtown Works hopefully soon.
I'll be poking and grateful for the opportunity. Thank you all again, Candace, Marissa.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.
Alrighty. Yay. I love talking to startups. It's like inspiring. Yes. You have a long day? Okay, now ready to keep going. So we obviously talked about the startups. We talked to Jonah and Jared, and I think we covered everything regarding what's going on with Downtown Works community.
Yes. And I'd like to reiterate, we're constantly on top of keeping the space safe from the ground floor to the roof with the sanitizing and
my own sanitizer here at the desk.
Yes. And wearing the masks. I've upgraded my mask to a
face shield. Yes.
So
I love it.
I look like a welder, but I like it. I enjoy it much more than wearing a mask. So yeah, it's a perfectly clean, healthy, safe environment for people to just have that peace of mind and focus on growing their business and being productive in their workday. So that's our job, and we're happy people are coming. It's really picked up. I mean, people are coming in and signing up, so it's refreshing.
Yes, I definitely.
It's now energizing to come to work. Before it was a little bit grim, but now it's very.
Yeah, we've adapted. I think you have been here the whole time, and I've been here since April. So I'm definitely seeing more people and more faces, and we're all adapting to the new normal that we have, at least with the safety protocols, and I'm happy about that. So if you guys have any questions, obviously you can email info@downtownworks. If you would like to call instead and talk to someone, you can also call 888-535-9675, and one of our lovely community managers or coordinators will take care of you. So thank you again for joining me, Jared, and Jonah, as well as Candace. As always, your energy is wonderful. So thank you, and we will see you next time.
See you later.